Okay, so why does modern art not make sense? Very good question. A lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it does make sense. When it comes to Dadaism and the Dada art movement, I would critique it a lot. It didn't make any sense to me. It still doesn't make any sense. I understand like the ideals behind it now and why the movement came to be, but I mean, maybe it's just not supposed to make sense. There's some of those pieces, like the urinal, for example, the ready-mades. The ready-mades don't really make sense to me because I'm like, wow, it's so abstract. What could it mean? And I was like, does it actually mean anything, or does it not? Like, who made it? Did the creator have the intention of like a meaning behind it, or did they make it and they were like, ha, I tricked you? Surrealism was a lot more interesting to me. From the manifesto, I took this quote, and it said, "There remains madness, the madness that locks one up." And it talked about how those that were declared mentally insane and incarcerated, how they were basically victims of their own imagination, and they were only incarcerated and labeled as insane because of the rules and the regulations we have in our justice system and what we, define as sane or insane. It kind of made me curious about, like, how does the mind, like, how can we say that the mind is sane or insane? Like, who creates the rules that are like, oh, this is sane, this is insane? Like, who made those, like, rules and, like, those outlines, and who incorporated them into our justice system? And, like, how did we all collectively agree, like, oh, this person's insane, or oh, this person is sane? How did we agree on that as a collective? And then it talked about dreams, and honestly, I don't remember the last time I dreamt, or maybe I'm just not remembering what I'm dreaming of, but the manifesto stated that psychological activity and dreams have been neglected. And it said, the mind of a man who dreams is fully satisfied by what happens to him. It talked about how, like, the man would lose his imagination around the year 20. So once he reaches his early 20s, he loses, like, touch with his imagination. And I can definitely see that, once you're pushed to be more mature, and you have to leave behind that silly, goofy curiosity, like how Baudelaire was talking about the childlike wonder that Guise has. As soon as you push that away, it's kind of like, what do you have left? And I like that surrealism pulls that back in as a movement and can show people, hey, you can still have that curiosity, you can still have, all these moving parts in your mind, and here's what they are. Like, it's not going to make sense, and it shouldn't make sense unless you still have that curious mind. I don't know. A lot of surrealism and Dadaism is very tricky to critique and harder to understand. But I do find it fun and very interesting.